We're in business. Outstanding. Just took a little card shuffling. All right, Doc, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. Councilman Costello, Madam Chair Middleton, Deputy Mayor Leach, and I did see on the screen the leader, Mr. Shorter. Thank you all for giving us an opportunity to share this morning. I'll be brief as necessary. Before I go into my comments, Tisha has left the chambers, but I just want to, since the merger of MOCFS and AIM, I mean, we've been able to continue to make progress. And so I just want to thank Tisha for the work that she's done. She's added great value to the work as we move forward. Just want to get right into the information on the slide. The recommended budget, this recommended budget is within still MOCFS at the present time, and it has been sufficient up to this point. Again, I attribute that to the collaboration within our agency, Tisha and myself. Getting to the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement and its work. Our purpose in doing this work was to create a collaborative community network that supports boys and men of color. But what we wanted to do was to do this by being really, really relevant. And the way that we realized at the outset how to be relevant was to go right to the streets, the street corners where individuals are, the schools where individuals are, and meet those young people right there where they are. And in the process of doing that, the goal was, if they were positive, if they were negatively and destructively disengaged, we wanted to make certain that they became positively and constructively engaged. And so we did that by bringing individuals together. And so we looked at policies, we looked at practices, and we said that we want to join with those individuals who are doing that work, that had a focus on working with boys and men of color within Baltimore City, 92.2 square miles. And so as we look at our work, the first thing I want to go down to the budget items. The funding has been sufficient and sustain the work for the contractual employees and for the operations of AIM. What we created in AIM was what we call Mission 186. And at the onset of the office, our preliminary research showed there were approximately 186,000 African American males and boys of color within Baltimore. 186,000. And our goal was to say, how do we collaborate to get all of those individuals, but it was men specifically, with the support of women in our city, but to get these individuals working, meeting our youngsters where they are. And so one of the things that we did a 3-month tour where we went to churches, we went to community organizations, and we visited prisons. And what we shared was that for those individuals coming home, this is the Mayor's Office of African American Male Engagement in Baltimore. We're intentionally focused on African American males, but we're not exclusive, so we don't exclude anybody. And we ask everybody to get involved from where they were. And so if you were positive and constructively engaged, it didn't matter if you were a preacher, teacher, a lawyer, if you were just coming home from a prison, if you had just finished rehabilitation for drugs or whatever. We wanted you to get involved because other individuals like you need to know your story. And so if you were, because we wanted to get everybody to be involved in this work. And so the 186,000, it was a big goal, but it was intentional because we wanted to ensure that we got everybody involved. And so one of the things that I'm really proud of in the city now, people see a movement called We Our Us. And that movement is moving forward with men of the city. But I'm happy to say that the We Our Us movement, which is on the ground, on street corners, wherever the youngsters are, was birthed out of the mayor's office of African American male engagement. And so that work is continuing, is working. There's a lot of work being done with Director Shantae Jackson. And so I'm excited about what's going to happen. And I'm even more excited that our mayor has required us to work collaboratively across agencies. And that's the only way we're going to be able to get this work done. And so Mission 186 is this collaborative network of individuals coming together. But as we began to get individuals off of the corner, and my colleague in chambers with me, Tracy Easter, we established what we call Connect to Success, right? And Connect to Success, and Councilwoman Middleton visited the center when we were at Park Heights. Connect to Success was a process where we met individuals where they were, and we helped them. We created wraparound services to help them close the gaps in their lives. So wherever they were, if you dropped out of school, we met you right there and we connected you back to school through the Re-Engagement Center at Baltimore City Public Schools. If you were overage, out of school, we tried to connect you from a place of where you wanted to be. And I think probably Director Edwards talked about the way we were able to effectively do that, and the way we're able to effectively do that with all of our disconnected individuals is through what we call personal growth plans, particularly for young people. You know, you hear a lot of people talking about helping individuals find their why, find their purpose. Well, that's what the personal growth plan does for us. That we bring individuals, meet them where they are, and then we begin to delve into what is it that you want to become? What is it that you want to become, and inspire them to move in that direction. And actually, they are inspired by the fact that we're just there. Who are you guys in suits or not in suits? Who are all of you individuals coming down here where we are, thinking that I'm worthy of being met on Park Heights and Cold Spring? Who are you guys? And that in and of itself was inspirational. So the Connect to Success process, we usually found individuals between the ages of 14 and 24. And as you know, that those individuals were part of those who are part of the Squeegee Alternative Plan, which we have been able to do some great work as well. And I know when I walked in the chambers, Director Edwards was answering questions relative to the Squeegee Alternative Plan, and I will be happy to answer.
Doc, I'm going to ask you to wrap up in 1 to 2 minutes, just so we get some council member questions in.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And so I just wanted you to know the Connect to Success. Thank you, sir. That the Connect to Success program is ready, and we're ready to do more work. It's expansive. It has a good foundation. And then, as it pertains to the pandemic did impact our work, but it didn't stop our work. 5 of the individuals in our office, because we were in the midst of having our summer rites of passage program for young men. And it's unfortunate, but I'm glad all of our staff, 5 of our staff members were infected with COVID-19. And so we were working shorthand, but we had to work through that. And so we're still here. And so I'll stop there, Councilman Costello, and answer any questions that might be
Thank
asked.
you so much, Doc. And Tracy, I just want to thank you for all your help over the years, and I want to apologize for not recognizing you when you walked in. I'm a little delirious this week. Council Vice President Middleton.
Just so we can move on, but just a quick comment. I've been knowing Dr. Bunley for a very long time, and he's been on this mission of helping our young boys and men just from the start of his career and principal and moving on. And he is dedicated to this city, and just watching the work that he continues to do within the Park Heights Northwest area, East Baltimore. He knows the importance of partnerships, and I know the group We Our Us, and they have been just working hard with him. The faith-based community, all different faiths, the Baltimore's representatives from the Baltimore City Police Department. I mean, just all the pieces of community he has working with him on this path of connecting to success. And to have also Tracy Estep with her background and experience assisting and working as well. We as women understand the importance of
No doubt.
helping and growing young boys into successful men. And you have my continued support.
Thank you.
Anything we can continue to do, and this partnership that you have, and you're definitely should be a part of the Office of Family and Children. It's all connected, and I've seen your successes in helping, going directly on these streets and helping our young people find jobs. How I've seen it in action. So thank you for your continued success.
Yes, and you've been a stalwart and been very, very strong up in the Park Heights area, Councilwoman Middleton, and I just want to appreciate you publicly for just showing up and being the first there even before we arrived. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Councilman Stokes?
Dr. Buntley, first of all, thanks for your leadership. I remember when this outside of the family, Ms. Edwards program, you had already been out on the street talking about this when we used to meet for breakfast up on York Road way
Yes,
back
sir.
then.
Yes,
So, and Tracy, you've been working with young people the last 30 or 40 years. So you got a soldier right there, Dr. Buntley. You already
No
know
doubt.
it.
No
And
doubt.
she have contact with families, and that's important because we get to the young people, we had to get to the families. But I wanted to mention, you had mentioned, y'all call them squeegee kids. I call them intersection entrepreneurs because
Yes, sir.
squeegee has this negative, well, some of the news people make it so negative. So I have some young men I'm working with now, but I have a business in my district, and I'll be working with, I forgot, Brother Andrew over at
Yes.
Oliver, who brought his program over to the Oliver Center, working with Director Moore. So he have that program in Oliver, which is working. But he want to hire some of the young people. He has maybe 3 hotels. So I want to sit down with
Yes, sir.
you, Dr. Buntley, Tracy, and Brother Andrew, because we got to get them ready. People
Yes,
always
sir.
say give them a job, but there's some other things that got to be addressed before that. But I just want to thank you guys. I know one time I caught y'all coming through Bond and Preston Street in East Baltimore, and I really appreciate it. But I like for y'all to come back and sit down and do some things with the young people that I'm dealing with. I had a young man I called him the other day because one of the community people called me. He said he wanted to work. And when she told him I was going to call him, not because I'm a councilman, he just started crying because he was reaching out for some help. So
Yes.
I've been still talking to this young man. So, and the guy that owned about 2 hotels called me, said, I want to hire him, so we got to get him ready. And I like
Okay.
to work with all you guys, Tracy, yourself, Dr. Bunley, and Brother Andrew, so we can get them ready because he's ready to hire them young men. So again,
Councilman,
I just want to share that with and thank y'all for all your leadership.
Councilman Stokes, you know I'm right there with you, and I just appreciate your work as well. And so we're right there. Whatever it is that you want to do, let's get it done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Stokes. And as I go down the list, Councilman Conway, do you have a question or comment for Dr. Bundley?
Question, comment. I'd probably start with a comment. Dr. Budley, pleasure to meet you virtually.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you, as I've stepped into my role, your name has come up 1,000 times, and I'm really eager to learn more about the work that you've been doing. One with this office, but then also with We Are Us. So eager to connect with you outside, and I'll find a way to reach out to you afterward. The question that I have, so just kind of looking at the budget, there's not too much here, but I noticed that the budget saw a slight decrease in 2021 and then a slight increase, but not quite meeting the 2020 budget, about $30,000. How does that affect your operations, and what's that going toward? What are you guys dealing with?
when we merged with MOCFS, there's really no reduction. We didn't lose any capacity because Tisha Edwards ensured that, as a matter of fact. But it's just not showing because the African American male engagement process was situated with the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success. Successfully, it did happen. So it's really not a reduction. It's just not showing up for somehow. And I was kind of sort of away from the money happily, but Tisha Edwards was a great steward of the money. So it was there. We didn't lose any impact in terms of our work. As a matter of fact, we gained some power.
Great, good to hear. And I didn't get to give Tisha her accolades while she was on in the last hearing, but if she's listening to this, she is an awesome partner. I worked with her in the past, and I'm really, really happy to have the opportunity to continue to work with her, especially with some of the work she's doing up in my district.
Well, she's back in
Um,
chambers, but I don't know if she's hearing you. They're talking about you, Tisha.
okay, tell Tisha I said hey, and thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She's been
Okay.
awesome. Um, so to that end, and just sort of a broad question, you know, I really do believe that the work that you're doing, and as you've described it here, and as I've heard from others, is going to be the key to really helping some of our young Black men get on the right track or turn their lives around. Um, what can we do in your mind? Where do you see the greatest opportunity for us to improve in that endeavor?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, I think Councilman Conway, I appreciate you asking that question. I think we have to do. We're in the process in West Baltimore. We're right at the southwest west line, and I say we. I go back and forth because even when I work for the mayor of Baltimore, but I'm also a part of the movement, just as Councilman Stokes is a part of the movement, and all of the other men and women who are part of the movement. We're there, but what we're moving across the city, but we're getting ready to situate the work in a particular area so we can look at some baseline data of what we're doing. And so what we want to do is we look at the comprehensive or the core values of the work that has to be done. And so with that movement, there's four core values: is connect, protect, mediate, and message. And so the connect is connecting individuals to jobs, therapy, food, and the like. The protect is the visibility. And so one of the things that we want individuals to do in their area when we come to their area is, like, when we come to council Councilman Stokes area, he doesn't come by himself, but he shows up with 10 pastors in that area, people who have sway in that community. And that's what we need to do. We need presence in that community so we can help the people. And then we deal with the mediation. We have individuals who have recently come home from prison. We met them while they were in prison, but we knew that they were doing positive things, and they came to us after the fact. And so we're working on all of those things right in a geographical area so we can impact families. So one of the things that Tisha always emphasizes, and we got to look at the entire family, and we know that, and you all have said that. And so family impact. So for example, if you're feeding an individual grandmother, if you don't think about it, you're feeding the grandmother, but her grandson is on the corner distributing narcotics. Right. And so we got to be able to know that everybody is connected to everybody. They talk about 6 degrees of separation in the world. We have the degrees of separation within the 92.2 square miles of Baltimore is even very, very small. And so that's what we need. We need to see everybody to get in there. And our people in the city are suffering from lovelessness, hopelessness, and meaninglessness. And so what we want to do is to provide that love through food, through jobs, through guidance. We want to find, that meaningfulness. We talk about our personal growth plan. We want to know where individuals are. Everybody has a dream. Everybody wants to do something good. And so that's why, as a part of MOCFS, and AIM, we established a personal growth plan. And then if you're doing that and you're guiding people toward their vision and dreams, then they're acquiring some hope. But the big piece right now is the gun violence. And what we know is that the guns are so plentiful out there. We really have to have a messaging campaign of the mind where we get individuals to choose. and we got to do that pictorially. We got to do that through graphics. We got to have, you know, in the community right now, they're talking about, or in the United States of America, they're talking about the big lie in politics. Well, in Baltimore, we got to have the big truth. And that is getting individuals in their space and giving them the truth about what their possibilities are. But we have to show it. I heard Tisha talk about this notion of money. We were been able to swap money that they were making. If we want them to come off the corner, the youth that squeegee, you have to swap that income. And so that's what we're doing on the ground, working, being in those individual spaces and faces, and just loving up on the people in Baltimore.
Thank you, Councilman Conway, and thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Bunley. At this point, it is 11 a.m. for the homeless services. Any council member, if you want to use the raise hand function at this point, if there's any further questions for Dr. Bunley. And I don't see any. So Dr. Bunley, again, thank you for the work that you continue to do and the work that you do with Director Edwards. And again, it's all about the partnerships, and you continue to partner and do the work. And I'm sure you have the total council support. Keep
Yes.
up the good work.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
So at this point, we're going to now have the Mayor's Office of Homeless Services. And again, in your books, that's volume 2, beginning on page 91. And that time is a hour slotted time from 11 a.m. to noon. So give us a minute while they're setting up.